Maybe you feel like God is testing your faith. I know sometimes I feel like my faith is being tested, and I think, man, God, am I really missing it this much? Am I really missing it this much? What are you going through right now? What are you feeling at this moment? Has God spoken to you, and have you been taking active steps to accomplish that thing that was put in your heart to fulfill? And maybe you're going through slight opposition. Maybe some people have been speaking against you. Maybe some have been plotting against you. Maybe some have been going against the grain. And it makes you scratch your head at night and say, I really thought I went through that. I just what was going on. And I was thinking about James chapter 1, verse 3, about the testing of our faith and what it produces. Some translations say perseverance, other translations say steadfastness, but regardless of what word they throw in, the concept is the same. That it produces a consistency in your life. I look back at my life and the track record where God has proven himself to me over and over and over and over and over. Consistently the same pattern. God speaks something to me, reveals something to me, and then there's follow through. He speaks something to me, he shows something to me, and then there's a follow through. And that has helped me. There's been a testing in each of those things. Whether from the time I was 4 and knew I was going to be at Bible college and knew which Bible college I was going to go to and ended up attending there and graduating from there, in the midst of opposition and people saying it couldn't be done, God then for others in my town that actually paid and put in the resources to make sure that call of God came to fruition. There was a testing that I went through. God, are you really going to do this? Are you really going to do this? Are you really going to do this? And it was right at the last minute. Not only for the first year of Bible school, not only for the second year, but all the way through each semester, right up at the last minute. Always right on time. It was a testing of my faith that produced perseverance and steadfastness to the point that I was able to talk to people who were questioning about the finances, and then I was going to make a payment to them and say, well, you challenged me to have faith, and now I'm walking in faith. I need you to have faith with me. This is going to come up. After a while, they stopped challenging me about my level of faith and how I was going to pay the bill. If you didn't have the money, and God said do it, and so the time, money, and resources that you had, you invested into it, it's up to him to come through. Now, some people say that's bad economics, but faith is substance. You know, I shared a couple weeks ago in one of the video blogs that some trust in chariots and some trust in horses, but ultimately, we as a people of God remember his name. I remember the Lord's name, especially Jehovah Jireh, my provider. He's your provider. He's going to come through for you if he spoke it and it's been confirmed and you know the voice of the Father. You know you can bank on what he's saying. The call of God will always lead you. The call of God will always, always establish you. You know, as you read the 23rd Psalm, you see this concept of the Lord being a shepherd, and that he's going to lead you in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So if he's telling you to invest your time, money, and resources into doing something that might be a little out there, a little, it's never been done that way before, there's a good chance that there's a reason for it. Now, I know it's a cop-out to almost suggest this. In this concept and the question of what if I do fail? What if I do fail? Then what do I do with it? Well, you might fail in what you perceive to be the overall objective. You may. But if you follow the voice of the Lord and do what He's telling you to do, you can't fail. I'm not going to say, oh, it just makes God look silly. No. It's too much of a stretch. It ultimately is ourselves that we put on the line. I want you to ask yourself these questions as you're considering the situation that you're facing right now. Is what you are doing actually sin? Is what you're doing producing fruit? In order for there to be fruit, there needs to be a seed. There needs to be some growth of a plant or a tree or something before there's any fruit that's up. And this is, I think, probably the most crucial question. Probably should ask this one first. Is what you are doing coming out of you and out of your fellowship for rivers of living water? Is what you're doing coming out of you, or is it something that was put on you? In other words, maybe you heard from the Lord, or maybe you heard someone say, "Thus saith the Lord." And it's important to weigh that. Is what you're doing something that is really a part of you? And man, this is my dream. I'm going to take everything I have and invest it into this thing. Or is it, I only did this because I heard so-and-so say such and such. That's crucial. But the testing of your faith, consider the heroes. Consider the track record. They all heard the voice of the Lord. Noah built the ark. David took a giant out with a sling and a stone. His faith was being tested. Think about Jesus and what he went through. 3 years of his life to train others that he invested his time, money, and energy into. He wanted to train them to follow him so that they could go above and beyond anything that he was doing. And in his darkest hour, they fell asleep on him. And in his darkest time, in the most crucial moments of his crucifixion, they were turning their backs on him, denying him. I dare say that the faith that Jesus had in his Father was being tested. God is not testing your faith. God is going to prove himself to you because of your faith. There's many that have invested in me over the years. A lot of ministries that I've maintained a good relationship with over the years, they invested in me. And rarely have I seen people invest back into them. I've looked at my life and thought, man, I made a lot of investments in people. And I've seen little to nothing in return. We're not supposed to do it for anything in return. But I want to challenge for those of you that have had people invest in you. I want to challenge you to do something. I want you to make a list of the people that have impacted your life. I want you to make a list of the people that have impacted your life more than any other person. And it's payback time. It's time for you to impact them in return. If the person owns a business, you ought to purchase a product from their business. Don't just tell them, thank you for what you've done in my life. Pay it back a little bit. Invest in them. Invest in who they are. If they bought you coffee, lunch, or invested time, money, and energy in you, you were an art. Just like you are. All the time, money, and energy was invested in building you up and affirming you as one of God's children. I think it's time that you do that in return to something. People that speak the word of God need to also sow into the seeds of their words. Last summer, I took a team to Western New York and spent a couple days in Pennsylvania. And we went to a county fair, and there was somebody that was there that had a lemonade stand, and so I said, guys, we're going to go up and purchase lemonade from these guys, and we're going to pray a blessing over them. That God was going to prosper their business, and that it would go above and beyond anything they could ask or imagine. So we all went up and ordered our lemonade from them, and they're making it, and we're having side conversations with some of the people behind the stand. And I reached in my pocket and took out a 20 after praying for them, and gave it to their youngest. It was his tip. I actually gave it to the grandfather, and he gave it to his grandson. Said that's a tip that goes into his pocket. But if somebody's going to take the time and energy to pray a blessing over a business, and take the time and energy to pray a blessing over somebody, and they start speaking words like, God's going to come through for you, and He's going to provide for you, and there's going to be finances. If you're the first one to utter the word, then you should also be the first one to dip into your hand to invest into that promise. Test your faith. Do you really believe in the word that was spoken over you? Then hold on tight. Are you wishy-washy? Present it to the Lord, and hear the voice of the Father in regards to that matter. If you've taken the time and energy to speak something into a person's life, start the domino effect and invest in it. Pay that money into it. Somebody speaks life into that. They need to invest into that. It's not enough to be a hotshot superstar for the kingdom. From now on, if I'm going to be speaking life into somebody and speaking financial blessings into something, prosperity into something, if I'm going to be speaking it, I'm going to be acting on it, reaching in my pocket and doing something with it. Then I want you to look at your life now and consider the things that God has spoken to you and the times that it came to pass. Look at that mountain that you're facing right now. Now, there's been a track record in my life where God's come through consistently in financial situations. Over and over and over and over and over. And now I'm starting to branch out and take some steps of faith on my own. And that mountain that you're facing consistently, that's a big mountain, that's a big mountain, that's a big mountain. So with God's eye view, that mountain, it's just like a mole. There's really not much to it. You've got to get the strategy from the kingdom. God's view on how to get over that mole. Some trust in chariots and some in horses. But you and I, we have to remember the name of the Lord our God. The testing of our faith will always produce perseverance. There's that tenacity. I don't care what somebody says about me, it does not define who I am. It doesn't matter what somebody says about me, it does not define who I am. It doesn't matter what somebody says about me, it does not define who I truly am. If we're not building each other up, encouraging each other, and edifying each other, then we're not doing what the Father's telling us to do. By faith, by faith, by faith. Faith is substance. A good friend of mine, Brent Engelman, always tells me that love looks like something. And so we've had great long conversations together talking about how love looks like something. Love is more than just a little phrase. It always looks like something. I'm going to challenge anybody that's watching this video. Don't tell anybody again that you love them without somehow showing them what that looks like. It looks like something. It's a substance. Faith is substance. Love is substance. These three remain: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. If you love the Lord your God, then you establish it to have faith in the Lord. Let the faith rise up. Be encouraged. God bless you.